My center.
Yeah. Okay, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. This shir is for Shlema of Nisim Ben Ima. Okay, we are starting Kufben Zion. Hanoider or Nishba b'Shem Elilim. Someone who makes a neder or nishba in the name of Elilim. Hareze Haya Loiker. Right? If that he did that, that's an Issa Isa with Hasra, and he would get Malchus. But also lahaskira b'shman. It's also to mention the name of Elilim bein letzarech, bein shelo letzarech, whether it is letzarech or not letzarech. Now this would apply to. It's also to name any of any deity, including that, and we're knowing to mishavish it, Yashka or Yeshu, because in Hebrew, in Hebrew, the name was actually Yud Shin Vav Ayin, is what they called him, and so we were mishavish it to Yeshu, which has other derogatory meanings as well, and or Yashka or different things. It is a problem to mention it, to mention his name. People don't realize that it is, it is an issue. I don't know. As far as I know, I remember being told whatever. If there's other shitas, I don't know. Or mention any of the foreign deities or whatever. Obviously, saying that the name in Arabic is fine because it refers to Kodesh Baruch Hu, and there even I think some of the Achronim were called Abdallah and things or whatever, Abdallah Somech. They used it was in part of the name, so obviously there's no problem with that. Beis Shem Chagim Shalahem Shehem Kishemos Bnei Adam Ein Chashash Laskiram. Names of Chagim, which are like names of people, there's no problem of calling it that. Like, I guess, Patrick's Day and things like that. It's the name of a person. It's probably okay. Now, when it comes to the name, like Christopher and things like that, it is okay. Even though just saying the first part of the name would be a problem because that's like. Let's finish it. It's not they should say it the chashivus. But if it's used in a name, it's not a problem. In Spanish, or let's say in Mexico, it's very there is a name Jesus, and the Torah is a name, and therefore there will be much to call it to say the name then, because it's a guy's name. If you're referring to the man, but if you're referring to the deity or whatever, then lashon chashivos, and it would be then again that would be a problem. To people often use his name to curse by. Is that okay? I don't know if that's their chashivos. I don't know. I can't answer that. It's still better not to be masculine. So. I don't know. I know. I mean, the Abarbanel says that he writes. I think it's in Yeshaya that Yeshua is Osias Esav, and he was a Gilgal of Esav. He writes people Mukubalin that's Osias Esav. So you really learn like that. So fine. He was a Gilgal supposed to be Masakin Esav, but he didn't. So.
It does not refer to Oisu Elish by anything other than Oisu Elish.
Oh, Posha Yisrael, it's on the Remes. Right.
Never calls him out by his name.
The
question is that censorship or is that...
Often it's probably censorship, but still, even the censor, I don't know. There is a medrash, I think you can find it in the Hebrew books if you're interested, called Toldos Yeshu. If you've ever seen it, it's a bit mind-blowing, whatever, it's it's a medrash which it tells all the stories of what actually happened and what not.
I have to go on Sanhedrin on
Yeah, no, that's it.
what the exact lashon is. That's pre-censorship.
Yeah, no, they have them in all the new Gemaras. They have them. No, but this sefer it's called Toldos Yeshu. It has all the midrashim. I think you can find it in Hebrew books. So whatever. Also, listen. The truth is, the shaila is again, the shaila is with censorship and whether to talk about it or not. And I don't know. There are reasons why. I remember there are reasons why these things were censored, and nowadays, to be honest, depends how much is said or not. It does have to be careful. So now these things overall, if it's on the internet and things, if it's positive, anything positive can be taken in a negative form, and
The Vada definitely the second part of his name, which was added.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that's a problem, or unless it's in a person's name.
Right.
Achopanim, and the shem, right, and also for example, the Yidden are knowing not to say the name of the Chag. They say Xmas or Kratzmach. They say Nittel.
There are goyim who are careful not to. They say Xmas on purpose because they don't want to say.
Right, exactly. So it's
not a Jewish thing.
Well, it is because.
And the Xmas symbol takes the place of the cross.
Right. So that's also there's a old they call it Yiddish Nittel, whatever. Yeah, Gimel also ligram lovi kochavim sheyidor or sheyishba b'shem elilim. It's also to be gorim a goy to make a nether or to yishba b'shem elili or to say thank. We're talking about a real avodah zara. They're not talking. We'll talk about what's it called modern day. More Western in a minute, but Achopanim. It is that's a problem. Where the Ramah says nowadays it is mutter because bigadol they have kavana for Kodesh Baruch Hu, but they're meshatef shituf. They do shituf and shituf. The Ramah holds that shituf by a goy is mutter. And therefore, we're not being over in Lifnei Iver for them to say, to reference the Kodesh Baruch Hu with some other power because it's mutter for him. Now, the Piskei Tshuva here brings another Yehuda and Tzedakah says that's not true. It doesn't make sense, and everyone's cholok on the Ramah, and they say that when they know are also b'shituf, there's no question. So therefore, you do have to be nizar, but it sort of depends what he says and what if it's kavana. I don't know. Also, it sort of depends on what branch, and you have to know. And I don't know all the chilukim and all the different branches after Protestantism and all these things. I don't know all the different chilukim, and a person has to know. At Achopanim, in general, what is the din of shituf? I was just trying to look into it because there's Nagaya when it's Nagaya to Yidden, there's a whole big there's a Maharal who says Chassan Sofer quotes the Maharal who says a person should be nizar not to say Bachnise Rachamim on the Slichus by the end. He says because the Maharal says we're not oisik with malachim anymore. Right? He says not oisik with malachim. Now the Bachnise Rachamim malach or Malachei Rachamim is, obviously these are old piyutim from Rishonim. So, it could be the Maharal held that the problem he held, that Zifra explains, is using an intermediary between us and Kodesh Baruch Hu. That's what the Maharal's problem is. And I understand that it could be the Rishonim. Now, there is a Rashi, there is a Rashi which says that you should ask Malachim. It could just be that nowadays we don't have the proper kavanas. We don't know how to mechavin properly. A chiluk between asking the malachim for help or realizing the malachim have no koach of their own And if you attribute any sort of power, or the Rambam says this, and I looked also the quote of the Rambam says in Hilchos Tshuva, there's a min in someone who uses a kochav or whatever, any power as an intermediary. That was the problem with the Egel Azov. Also, is that we want that Klal Yisrael used it was a type of shituf. They used it as an intermediary. That's what the Gemara by Halucha. That's what the Gemara in Sanhedrin says is shituf. But the Egel Azov. That it was the focus over there. It's a type of shituf. So if a person doesn't, it's a rechoshish that it could be the Maral, some Sefer, the Gra. The Chasam Sofer says that he Machlise Rachamim, and he says I took a very long time, saying Tachanun to they wouldn't to avoid saying it, whatever. I've seen other nuschos on Malachi Rachamim. There's other nuschos, the Gra from the Gra. I think what you say, the minig is okay to say it. The minig Klal Yisrael is to say it. But I understand the chashash is of shituf for using in the intermediaries, and you are Kodesh Baruch Hu. The Rambam holds it's mamish a problem. Seems like Rashi holds it's not as big of a problem, and that could be what the Chafrei Ashkenaz held. But but using any already, but they say, well, what about going to Kivrei Tzadikim? Okay, you say Melitz Yosher. It's a Melitz. It's asking him to daven in Shemayim for us, but it's not saying okay you. There is a shita. Our shitas out there that people can be used as can be used as a focus for the tefillas to go to Kodesh Baruch Hu. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. I get it because they have their own whatever. Not going to get into it over here, but it's yesh lodum b'zeh harbe and I know poskim are very makbir on it, and some not, and whatever, different cults and different things, or whatever you want to call them, whatever. So, Akopanim Dalin Mutter Lahaska Shemilin Maksuvim Batayra Hokara Bel Koris Navo Haorchim Lagad Shulchan. Anything which is mentioned in the Torah, obviously Kamoish. Anything that's mentioned, you are allowed to say. Hey, Mutter Litz Loitzaitz. It's mutter to make fun of Eliyah in general, even though we say generally that Leitzanos is Aser, but Leitzanos of Elilim, it's 100% fine. There is no problem with that. Avram says also Leitzanos of Rishayim, things like that. There's no problem. Haga mutter loimer la'ovi kachavim. So the gears of in the Ramah here is Elokecha. Elohecha yeh be'ezrecha, o yatzliach ma'asecha. All the Achronim here, the Gra, all say it's a Tal Sefer, and it shouldn't be Elokecha, it should be Elokim. Meaning if you say your God, your God, whatever, it's a problem. But if you say Elokim, for example, when someone sneezes, you say God bless you, right? So that's okay. Even if he's not Jewish, that's okay, because you're referring to a Kodesh Baruch Hu. You're not referring to who would he be thinking of or whatever. So that would be mutter, So anytime you say, God save you, anything like that, or anything like that, it's your kavanah. You go after your kavanah, not his kavanah. Fine. Kuf ben ches. Shlosha Yomi Chagei Elilim. Shlosha the din in the Gemara. Shlosha Yomi Fnei Chagam She'ov de Kochavim is talking about Mamash Avodah Zarah. 3 days before a Chag of Avodah Zarah. Also Likach Mehem V'Linkor Lahem. It's also to do any business with them, because they're going to go ahead and be molded because it's around their Chag. They molded to their Avodah Zarah. Something which is like you sold them a car, I don't know, whatever it is. Mutter limkor lahem davar she'enu miskayim ad yochagam, some fruit or things like that. You can sell it until the day of their chag. On your rakos atavshu, chol, right? V'chein aser. If you go down Route 1, there's a chol Yericho. If everyone's ever seen it, don't understand it. V'chein aser lahashil It's in Arabic. V'chein also lahashiv alishol ulahavoisam. It's also to be mashir, to lend them stuff, or to borrow, or to lend them money below ribis, because ribis, lend them with interest. That doesn't make them happy. That doesn't make them be to praise their. It's not a good thing for them. So it doesn't make them praise their their avodah zarah. V'lavos mehem or l'param l'ifar mehem, or to and to borrow from them, or to pay them back, or to or even to get paid from them, because the Gemara says that there's nothing like there's no simcha like paying a chovah, malva b'shtar or l'mashkon. But milva al peh nifroi mehem, milva al peh, you are allowed to collect for them shehenku kumatzu miyodom. Anything where there's an opportunity that you're gonna possibly lose money from it, then you are allowed to do business before the Chag. Ubizman the yodam tkifa, and at times now when they're in control, when they're ruling, afilu b'shtar chashav kematzu miyodom. If you can get your money, then you should take the opportunity. V'imi milva malva beribis afilu b'mashkon chashav kematzu miyodom. Even if it's ribis, even if it's a mashkon, it's still considered matzu miyodom, and therefore it will be mutter. Avar b'sif beis, avar b'nasa b'yom chagam. If he was over and he did business on their holiday, also b'hana, that's mamish also b'hana. It's considered that the shosha yomim or choshesh, he's gonna give thanks. But if it's on the chag itself, then it's mamish also b'hana, because it's getting hana from they're doing it the chvod their zara, and it's a problem. Ve'im nasa b'shosha yom nashil l'fnei chag mutter b'hana. But anything which was done 3 yomim before the chag is mutter b'hana. Gimel im hayachagam she'oisam ha'avdei kachavim yomim harbe. If it's a long holiday, Gimel Daled Yud Kol Oisam Hayomim Ki Yom Echad Heim. All those days are like one day. V'Kol Oisam Hayomim Asurim Im Gimel Lifneim. Right? The Gemara says there's a shita which holds that every week there's one day a week when they celebrate, and therefore the whole week it's also to do business with them 3 days before and 3 days after, and then you have Shabbos. 3 days before include Shabbos. We have 1 day you can do business during the week. It's a censor Gemara, which is interesting. Dalit Vedra Ramurim be'Eretz Yisrael. This is only talking in Eretz Yisrael. Of Bashar Aratzos Einu also Yom Chagam Bilvad. This is only talking in Eretz Yisrael, because in Eretz Yisrael, the you see from the Psukim, Avodah Zarah in Eretz Yisrael was like the Iker place, the strongest. Avodah Zarahs were in Eretz Yisrael. The outside, the Gemara says only minig avosei b'yadeim, and it's only a minig, and it's not so strong. So therefore, only on the Yom Chag Bilvad, it's a problem. Hey, also the shloch doron le'ovik kachavim Yom Chagam. You can't send gifts to a non-Jew on his day of his holiday. And unless he's not moed be'elilim. Be'enoi oivdam, and he's not going to worship. So nowadays, and they have the holidays in America. Honestly, listen, you have to know who you're sending to. People who just do it because they want, because it's a nice feeling and it's a nice American holiday, and I don't know, just because they put all the decorations up and everything like that. If they're not like really religious, they just enjoy putting these things up and all, and whatever, it's a good feeling, then it would be okay to go ahead and send them a gift. It's better not to. We'll see later on if it's Ava or not, but obviously it's better. For sure, if you know for sure the guy is basically an atheist and he just likes putting stuff up because of the season. Okay. And a guy who sends gifts to a Yisrael, you should not take them. However, all these things, if you're choshish for Eva, you lose your job, things like that, any other hefsid. V'yizur kenu b'fun of labor, but then you dump it in the garbage. Or the makom ha'oveg k'la'achiyad. You, oops, fell in the car. Oh, dropped on the floor. It smashed. Then the Rambam says, this is the machlokes that Taz brings. The Rambam says, you don't do a k'la'achiyad. You do it right in his face. And you do it, whatever, putting zolfos, like, you do it right in his face. Shulchan Aruch doesn't seem to go like that. The Torah ties to Miyashiv. I guess it sort of depends on if the guy is giving it, and he knows that the Jews don't celebrate the holiday, and he's giving it sort of, as here, I'm giving you a gift, l'chavod my chag and things and whatever. So then it could be his motive to go ahead and show him like the Rambam, like do me a favor,
It's all the Doron anyway. It's all the Yoreh of the Chag.
Correct.
So someone sends it 2 weeks before.
Right, so it's a chvod chag. Yeah, it's only on that day itself. You have to ask a pesach, the person's in with the holiday parties and all these things in work. Again, mitlam eva, there is heterim, but a lot of times they'll give them this is the Shem Hanukkah, whatever. So then it could be that's okay. You have to know the Metzias, and the person has to ask first little shilos. Yeah.
Stand in front of him. How is that not Mishum Eva?
No, it's so the Rambam holds. Is that the Rambam holds? I don't think the Rambam is much more machmir. Shulchan Aruch says that if you have a way, the pshat of Shulchan Aruch is if you have a way to go ahead and do a kol achiyad. Right, but like sometimes you have to be a bit suave and smooth when it comes to people who are like don't know what they're doing. It's better not to.
People going to figure it out.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, all these things. All right, we'll stop. We'll stop here. But